Hello, everyone. If you want to turn your cameras on. Is that it? Okay, welcome to the Brantford Accessibility Advisory Committee for Thursday, January 25th. We're going to do election of the chair and vice chair to begin the meeting. Is there any nominations for chair? Or anybody that would like to volunteer? The chair does need to be in person. Colleen? Has any other nominations for chair? All those in favor? Colleen is the chair. Thank you. And how about for vice chair? This can be virtual if you plan to attend in person in the absence of the chair.
I nominate Brian.
I nominate you.
Oh, I can't see the paper.
I'm sure there's gotta be a way. That would be our next focus.
I don't believe.
Shouldn't that be our next focus?
This should be our.
It should be our next focus.
I can
Yeah,
get it.
absolutely.
Okay, if I get the notes ahead of time, I can get it.
Can it be done?
Yeah.
Sure.
So let it be written, so let it be done. I nominate Mark.
Oh,
Mark, do you accept the
I
nomination?
accept.
All those in favor? Excellent, thank you. So Mark is the vice chair. And Colleen, I'll pass the chair over to you, and just so that you know, the role has been taken.
Thank you so much. So the role has been taken by the clerk. We'll go on to the rules of procedure. We would like to welcome our three new members to the Accessibility Committee, Brian, Mark, Amra, and the fourth would be myself, Colleen. The Brantford Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting is now called to order. To begin, we will go over some rules of procedure. This meeting is held in a hybrid format in accordance with the electronic participation policy for virtual meetings. The full corporate policy 050 regarding electronic virtual meetings is available online to review. Staff and delegates are reminded to keep their video and microphones off until requested by chair or members of the committee. All cameras for committee members shall remain on to ensure quorum. Members of the committee shall indicate they wish to speak by physically raising their hand. Members who are present in person will be given an opportunity to speak first, followed by virtual participants. All members of the committee will vote by a physical show of hands. Please leave your hand raised until the chair has determined the result of the vote. In the event a connection or service interruption occurs that affects quorum, we may recess the meeting for up to 15 minutes to regain quorum. If quorum is not achieved, the meeting will be adjourned. All rules for delegations under the city's procedural bylaw continue to apply. Number 3, are there any declarations of conflicts of interest for any of the items listed on the agenda? Seeing none, we shall move on. Presentations, we have no presentations or delegations today. Next on your agenda, there are 2 items for consideration on today's agenda. 5.1, Brantford Accessibility Plan 2023 State Update 2024-21. I will ask staff to come forward to provide an overview of this item. That's myself. Thank you.
So attached is the annual document. So that's our annual status plan update, which is mandated by the AODA. Basically marks our progress on our 2025 accessibility plan. So staff from all departments were contacted and progress on the plan was discussed with the accessibility coordinator. And then the plan was then written as a result of those discussions. That's all I have.
Okay, may I please have a mover and a second to place the motion on the floor?
I would like to move it forward.
Moved by Mark, seconder please.
I'll second it.
Brian, seconds. There discussion? Seeing none, we shall move that the report 2024-21 regarding Brantford Accessibility Plan 2023 status update be received And then the following comments from the BACC be forwarded to staff.
Are there no comments?
No
from committee?
comments.
No comments from committee? Okay,
Is there any discussion or questions? I will now call the vote. All those in favor, show of hands, please. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Next item is 5.2, 2024 National Accessibility Awareness Week, update 2024-62. I will ask staff to come forward to provide an overview of this item.
Thank you. Through the chair, my name is Maria Visaki. I'm the city's Director of Communications, Community Engagement, and Customer Service. Nice to see you all, and welcome to the new members. Perhaps since there are some new members, I'll provide a little bit more detail in terms of the background and what we're looking to hopefully accomplish through a discussion with the committee this afternoon. So at the September meeting, Bach endorsed us relaunching the city's Accessibility Awards campaign. We started the campaign in 2017, and we ran it for 3 years. And then there was a pause during COVID where we did not run the program. And so we want to relaunch it for 2024. And along with that, we've come up with some other ideas to really elevate the profile of the work that the city is doing in terms of actioning our accessibility plan. And ways in which we can celebrate not only accessibility, but also inclusivity and diversity in our community as a whole. So then in November, we came back with some ideas around how do we really elevate awareness around National Accessibility Awareness Week. In the past, we have given out our accessibility awards to community members and individuals who were nominated and met the criteria of this committee to actually be awarded an accessibility award from the city. But we wanted to do more than that. While we've done that in the past and it's been successful, we felt like going into 2024, we needed to really amp things up a bit. So we have a couple of ideas that were approved at the November 9th Bach meeting. One of them was to do a diversity and inclusivity event fair, where we had a number of community agencies and organizations across the community that would all come together in one place, celebrating inclusivity and diversity, and inviting the public in to see what kind of services and programming is available in the community to promote inclusivity and diversity and in effect, accessibility. So I believe some of my colleagues from Community Services and Social Development are here as well. We've started the planning process for that event and putting together who should be there, where should it be, what actually happens during the course of the event, what kind of information is conveyed and shared. And as we got into that discussion, we wanted to make sure that we had feedback from this group so that we were as informed as we could be about any sensitivities that we should be mindful of while we're planning this event. Similarly, during National Accessibility Awareness Week, we also wanted to launch something that we've been calling an experiential video, where we ask members of council and perhaps other key stakeholders to actually experience what some of the barriers are in terms of accessing services in the community. And the idea behind that is to really enlighten people through actual lived experience to demonstrate what people with disabilities may encounter if they're not getting accessible services. So as we're planning the video, it was also raised through the group, the working group, just the staff group. You know, what should we be mindful of as we plan the video, as we plan the concepts, as we engage a videographer to work with us to produce this video? How do we, you know, brief the participants? What should they be mindful of as they're going through sort of a day in the life, a lived experience day in the life of someone who would face barriers due to a disability? So we wanted to give the committee an opportunity to give us feedback, which is why you see in the recommendation that we want comments from this group to direct staff to make sure that we are accounting for all sensitivities across you know, a spectrum. You know, there are a number of you know, areas where people may face challenges or barriers, whether it be sight impairment or mobility issues or cognitive issues. So which ones should we demonstrate? Should there be, you know, 5 different ones, 10 different ones? How many people should be in it? What should we focus on? Really opening it up to the group to have a discussion and tell us what you think.
May I have a mover and a seconder to place this motion on the floor?
Well, I'll move it.
Mark,
I'll definitely second it.
Brian, move, and Mark second. Is there a discussion or question on this motion?
Yeah.
Yes, Brian.
When would you plan to create such videos?
Through the chair to Councillor Van Tilburg, the plan is to produce the video in March and April because National Accessibility Awareness Week is the last week of May. So we want to have it done so that we can promote it in advance. And we also wanted to show it at the event that is happening that week. And because it's going to be involved and it's going to involve, you know, scheduling of different people, and it's going to have to probably be shot on different days. We wanted some lead time to be able to plan it properly. So we'll be producing it February, March, and April.
And how long would it take for a person's time to attend something to do a little vignette?
That's a good question, Counselor. It would depend on how much time they had. You know, we could work with an hour or we could work with 2 or 3 hours. We would really try to accommodate the counselor's schedules as much as possible.
And so do you have a preliminary list of ideas to begin with, or are you seeking out ideas from scratch?
So we have rough ideas to begin with. You know, we wanted to demonstrate how somebody with mobility issues, you know, experiences a crosswalk in the city, for example. And so we would show a crosswalk that actually has accessibility features that are built into it and one that doesn't, so that they can see the difference in quality of life that it would make to somebody who relies on that assistive technology in order to get through, you know, the city and to do so independently. That's a really important theme, is that, you know, that's that they don't have to rely on other people, that the technology that has been implemented is enough of an assisted device in order to enable independence through the day. So we want to demonstrate sort of with and without, and we also want to demonstrate accessibility as it relates to documentation. The city is working hard on remediating all of the documents that we share publicly. And we want to show people what that experience is like, because a lot of people don't understand when you talk about remediation, what that means. And so we wanted to demonstrate how a screen reader actually works in a document that's remediated and one that isn't. And then you can really see the stark difference between something that has been formatted for accessibility and something that hasn't. So that's kind of the idea is to really get across what a difference it makes to people's lives when these accessibility features and infrastructure is put in place.
Mark, you had a question?
Yeah, so this is all very, very good. I would like to see that when you talk about low vision, because you're talking, from senior citizens who have very, very blurred vision because of age,
Mhm.
to people who are diabetic and have tunnel vision or apologize, my phone, I'll put it on do not disturb. And then there's people such as myself who live life totally blind. How is that? Like the one big improvement they made was the beeps to locate the crosswalks. That's been very helpful for myself, especially in the snowstorms that we received the last couple of weeks. I relied on that to find where the button was. But to do simple travel like that, and then to do one step further to go into restaurants and learn how challenging it could be to get into a restaurant and then order a meal and ask a waitress what to order. So small things like that. And I certainly have some ideas on organizations where I might be able to get you a couple clips of different people with disabilities and what is possible. So we could include that in the video as well. Because I'm a 3-time Paralympian as well. So.
Thanks for that feedback, Mark. And do you have any sort of guidance in terms of there was some talk when we first tabled this idea with the committee about making sure that it does not look like there's any exploitation going on. When you have people who are not disabled going through lived experience of people who are disabled, how could that make someone disabled feel? Is that something that they would see as, oh, they're trying to demonstrate this so that it is a learning experience for people, or would they feel offense if that was showcased that way? And is there a way that we can do it in which way that we can be more certain that it will be received in the way that it is intended?
I think it's a quick a solution to the problem, and I understand you don't want to be seen as we're making fun of them or mimicking them.
Exactly.
The key to any problem is education. And so maybe we could, for that week or maybe in the duration, if there's any money in the budget, maybe a sign of some sort or a t-shirt of some sort. Can maybe get t-shirts made for some of the people that are doing the task, so that if the public wonders what's going on, we can have some sort of a catchy phrase or something to advise the public on that. But I think it's a great idea. I understand the sensitivity, and I can appreciate the sensitivity for sure. Because that's what what arises from a lot of people trying to mimic us is now a lot of the things that were put forth for us people with disability, or well, I don't even say disabilities, obstacles in our life, such as blindness or whatever. It has made it more difficult for us to get onto certain programs or to get assistance because of people that have done that simply. So I think it's wonderful, and would welcome a call to talk further about that in the future, and I got some connections for you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mark.
Maria, I do have a question. This is Colleen. Do you have a roster of actors for your mini movies, or are you just going around and asking your fellow staffers?
Through you, we don't have a cast as of yet, but what we had in mind was, the mayor and members of council. And we have approached the mayor, with this idea, and he's willing to, participate. And, we will also put out, the casting call to other members of council. So that's who we had in mind
Oh,
for this
perfect.
particular project.
Perfect, thank you. Any further questions?
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah.
In the corner.
Sarah.
Can I say something for a minute?
Just a minute.
Yeah.
We've got Sarah up.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, everyone. I was just thinking that I think my question was really answered in sort of where are we seeking participants from. So I think this might be null and void now, but I was just wondering about whether we would think about involving children and youth in those videos as well. Perhaps not children, but maybe more youth. But it sounds like we already have a pool, so it might not be relevant now. Thank you.
Did you have a question? Amy?
No, the question, I'd just like to say that it was part of my life to make the world accessible for my husband, who was an OPP officer, had been hurt on the job and lost a leg. And so a serious injury for many years. He still worked 25 years in the courts here. So that was an accomplishment, but the obstacles that we went through and I have dealt with airlines, with whatever, any Red Lobster entry, button missing, all the stuff, you know, and anybody that I would go to and I would say, are you doing a modification, whatever? How about making it accessible and tweak the system? And I think that's basically, you know, all I could do because of the timeframes and so forth. But sometimes it's the simplest things that help. Okay, it's all in how you think. And it's just, you know, open the door, I call it, you know, and make it barrier free. And that's the whole principle for anything and everything. And that's why I've gone through a process in the last few weeks requesting if it was possible for any new housing that was going to be built, that it would have one accessible entry exit in everything you build. So that would be, but the thing is, the Accessibility Act states that the door can only be 860 millimeters, but however, that is sometimes too narrow for people that are bigger wheelchairs, that you hit your hands. And I said let's make it like, for common sense, 36 inches or 900 millimeters, because that isn't, there's articles available that make it, for in the building industry, makes it much easier to deal with that. If it is common sense and it is standard, then you got it covered. You know, and I also suggest maybe a sill that would be like a double sill, a low flat one for accessibility, but sometimes when you're on the outside and it's rainy and whatever, water issues. So maybe they could put a panel on top that could be removed when that time came. So if everybody has a accessible doorway, at least in the width already, that is the most important thing.
Good points for the building committees. Absolutely.
I went, but the thing is, it takes a long time and a lot of meetings for me, and I don't always see up to that. I was hoping that the city of Brantford Building Department could support that, and maybe that we start, you know, slowly going into the right direction, that it becomes a thing that could be dealt with. And I'm sure anybody that has a wheelchair and has lived in a wheelchair only for a short time knows that not everything is perfect, you know, and we got to work on that. Anything that we see, you know, same with me now, I'm trying to deal with the mailbox across from me. I shoveled the snow for 20 years. I'm not doing it anymore. Now I find nobody does it, and people can fall and end up, you know, and even a person like this gentleman wouldn't be able to get his mail, you know, and that's, yeah.
No, all good points, and every discussion moves those points forward, absolutely.
I think a t-shirt, let's do it, or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
Just,
together we can, absolutely.
yeah.
Good points, good points.
Yeah, push on with it, you know?
Any further questions?
No.
Comment?
Yes, sir.
Last November, we took a bus trip to Nashville, Tennessee. And you get out of the bus and have lunch or
Yeah.
body stop. And so many places that we went, did not have push buttons for doors.
Yeah, I know.
That is, I was so
Yeah.
amazed compared to what we have here in Ontario. I'm sure it must be an Ontario law, not just a local thing here in the city. But I did. And most of those doors are only 32 inches, not 36.
Yeah, see, that's, yeah, kills.
And we really noticed that.
Yeah, yeah.
On our bus trip.
Yeah.
A couple other things that I want to mention. There are no introductions to the people here on this table. And I hope that, I have no idea who these people are.
Okay,
I'm new to the committee. And I would hope that the records show that Brian Van is the counselor. I'm Brian Van, I'm the member.
Good
Okay.
point, Brian. Good point. Yes.
Okay,
Welcome
but you
aboard.
don't, because you don't know that, because I have not been introduced to anybody.
Right.
So I think that's not in good standing. Item number 2, the president and the vice president, what is their term? Is this a lifetime appointment? Is this a 1 year, 1 month?
2 year.
I don't know.
It's 1 year.
It's a 1 year. I see.
So after we finish recommendations for the report for Maria's report, we can go over some procedural stuff if you would like.
I see. And there's no agenda on the table either, so.
Oh, it was emailed to you, sir.
Was?
Yes. We can go over that after.
Okay, I will, if there's no further
I'll
questions.
fund this.
Oh, sorry, yes, Bev.
I'm just wondering if we have feedback or suggestions, who are we emailing it to, Maria or?
Through the chair to Bev, if you email it to clerks, then it will get to the right staff, because it's not just me, it's also, I think Taylor is on the line as well. She and her colleagues are sort of leading the event piece. So if there are any thoughts about the event that you want to share with us, or if you want to go back and talk to your networks and give us some ideas, we would welcome those with open arms. So if you send it through to clerks, then they'll make sure that it's disseminated to us.
Perfect. Any further questions?
Maria, did you want to take any of these recommendations to pass today that have been spoke about?
We can do that. I would maybe defer to clerks if we have to fill that in, and or if we could say that staff will take direction from the minutes because we've had the discussion, and from additional direction that is forwarded to us following the meeting. I don't know how to put that into something that you guys can vote on.
We can take direction from the minutes, and you can carry discussion take a discussion here.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this point? Seeing none, I will now call the question. All those in favor? Are any opposed? This motion is carried. We will now move into consent items. 6.1. The meeting schedule that was received at our last meeting was the schedule for quarterly meetings. This schedule has been revised to bi-monthly meetings. Can I get a mover and a seconder to receive the revised meeting schedule for 2024?
I'd like to move it.
Mark, thank you. Second? Lenny? Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Did you want to stop for introductions?
Sure, we can do that. Let me start with me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new members. I'm Kristen Demula-Meester. I am a member of the Clerks Department and clerking this meeting.
Lainey Hardman, retired, living in the city of Brantford, has taken care of a husband with a disability for 53 years.
Mark Prue, citizen, entrepreneur for many, many years in this city.
My name's Amra Alahich. I just recently graduated from an undergraduate degree in architecture at Carleton University. I want to get to learn a bit more about accessibility in cities. So that's why I signed up to volunteer for this committee.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
My name's Colleen Goupil. I'm here representing the Grand River Council on Aging, and my passion is accessibility as well as seniors and food insecurity.
You're not gonna
I'm
say
not.
anything?
Well, I should have introduced myself when I was speaking to my report. So I'm actually Nadine Dunlop, the manager of health, wellness and safety. I'm not a member of this committee. I was just kind of.
That's wonderful.
It's nice to have you.
Counselor Brian Van Tilburg, Ward 5.
Brian Vanderloot, polio survivor when I was 9 years old. So I've been. Currently, I'm a tax preparer, and that's my business. So you saw me come in with a walker, so we're getting to that age.
Bev, do you want to go next?
Sure, Bev Davidson. I'm a counselor at Canadian Hearing Services.
Christina?
Hi, my name is Christina Walgrave. I'm an orientation, mobility, and specialist at W. Ross Macdonald School.
Sarah?
So I'm Sarah Consoli. I am the HR director at Lansdowne Children's Centre. And I'm also pretty new to the committee. I think this is my third meeting, so nice to meet everyone.
All right, we'll move on to 6.2, Brantford Accessibility Advisory Committee, November 9th, 2023. May I please have a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes? Brian. Seconder? Yes, Bev, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And 6.2 is carried. Number 7 on the agenda, there are no resolutions. Number 8, there are no resolutions or notices of motion. And that brings us to number 9, adjournment.
All right.
The meeting is now adjourned.
Beautiful.
I second
Well
that.
done there, Madam Chair.
Why, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.